Hello and welcome to Tools Are Tools. I'm your host, Andrew Palmer. Tools Are Tools podcast is powered by Elegant Marketplace, the premier independent WordPress marketplace. I'd like to welcome you to today's guest, Vito Peleg from WP Feedback. Hi, Vito. How are you today?
Hello. I'm very good, Andrew. It's been a few days since we spoke.
It is only a few days. We do speak quite often. We are the brothers that never were. So it's nice to speak to you again. Now, WP Feedback, for those people that don't know, just give a 30-second elevator pitch on what it's all about.
So WP Feedback's mission is to fix communications for WordPress professionals. We started on this journey with the Pro, WP Feedback Pro, that basically allows people to click any element within the website to leave a message right then and there, essentially eliminating all the back and forth that is associated with giving feedback, communicating with clients, and communicating internally about website-related stuff. And now with our upcoming summit and we're tackling another aspect of communication breakdown in the WordPress space, where we're creating like a whole different experience when it comes to how we can engage with each other.
Yeah, and it's brilliant, that summit thing. And actually, just moving back to the WP Feedback Pro, when I first saw it, it was in, I think, Berlin, where it was at the Agency Transformation Live. Yeah, it's Lee Jackson's gig up in Wellingborough in the UK, and you were effervescent. You were, yeah, exactly, almost 2 years ago. You were
1 year ago, almost 1 year.
Was it 1 year ago? So time just flies. We're in lockdown, man. I mean, what can I tell you? You were effervescent about it, running around with your little iPad, showing everybody it, introducing yourself. You know, we were twins because we had the same kind of coat on and everything like that. And it was. And how far have you gone now? I mean, you're looking at thousands of customers using it, thousands of agencies, freelancers using it. I use it. It's changed my life. It's made me decide to continue doing web development as well as Elegant Marketplace and a few other things that I'm doing. So, how do you feel about the impact that WP Feedback, the plugin, has had on the community?
First of all, I feel more than anything super grateful because, like, literally, you were talking about this event that was in June of or May of last year, right? So we're not even 1 year in. Back then, there was no product. It was still in like not even beta. It was like in alpha. We're playing with it inside our own agency. Very, very, very basic. So it was definitely an insane year since then. And that was actually one of the first times that I showed this to anyone. I went to this event because I was invited by Paul Lacey, that I saw like a week before, and he told me, you got to go to this event. I said, all right. And that's where we met there. But the growth has just been crazy. We started that with nothing, and now we have close to 10,000 installations on a Pro version alone, which is mind-blowing on its own. We've gone through many, many huge milestones when it comes to this thing. I'm looking forward to closing the year. Hopefully I can even share some numbers from the year, which, it's crazy, man.
It is crazy. And luckily, Elegant Marketplace fell in your way and we were able to help you promote it as well. And that was an intense experience, and one that I have to say that I enjoyed from many aspects. But the key is, I think, is that I was only talking to someone today about WP Feedback. And I was unaware that this meeting was going to go ahead today until about an hour ago. But it's basically because my diary is rammed, as you know. And it's just great that these people are using it for care plans. They're using it to help their customers understand how they work. It's become part of the process of building a website, which is what, that's me from a user's perspective seeing it. So that must make you feel even more grateful or even more great about it. But the thing is also what it's done is it's born a community. Yes. You've now got WPFeedback.com, I believe it is. Yeah. I'm a member of it. So yeah, definitely WPFeedback.com, where web professionals can come together and build a community. It's different to the Facebook groups. It's kind of like Facebook, but it's different. So tell us about that and your thought
Sure.
process behind that.
So it all comes down to really the experience that we had launching this product and the incredible support that we got from the community, or adaptation that we got from the community. I wanted to find a way for us to give back on a substantial way, to not just do like a small kind of tiny step forward, but a huge leap forward that will help all of us collaborate and work together. That is what the Double Feedback Network is all about, and that's actually the hub where the conference is also going to be running. The idea is to connect all of us together. So when it comes to reviewing your own design, you have no idea how good it is, because the only person that usually see it is just the client, and just going through that iterative process, or that kind of uncertainty of whether what you're delivering is good, or how can I get better at what I'm doing while I'm sitting on my own at home, especially nowadays, but where you can't even, in agencies, you can't even get someone to look over your shoulder and tell you that that's nice or not. So we used or leveraged the WP Feedback Pro's functions of creating those little stickers on a design to give that functionality to the community and allow people to review each other's designs. So you see loads of websites are being uploaded onto their screenshots of the home pages, and others will come in and give you stickers and tell you that padding might be off, or this section is awesome, or how did you do this part? So getting some inspiration for their own projects as well. Um, that's kind of awesome from that standpoint. But for us, the idea was to create that hub. And I see that the community is just fragmented all over the place. And this is basically the same challenge or problem that we recognized when we were building WP Feedback Pro, when we were seeing the fragmentation of communications with clients and web and WordPress professionals. We saw the same patterns happening inside the community as a whole. Where do you go when you need to find information? How do you consume the best knowledge in the right time? You have thousands and thousands of groups that are basically doing the same kind of thing, but so you just need to figure out and raise a bunch more questions before you can actually answer the first questions that you had in the first place. So the idea is to bring it all home and create one place where we can all engage and learn from each other and grow together.
Yeah, and it's working. As I say, I'm in there. I dip in every single day, make sure that I'm aware of what's going on, and I've actually bought a couple of products because I thought, oh wow, they're pretty cool.
Nice.
And I'm
Awesome.
noticing that the community as well being very sharing and very caring and very collaborative. So that dream has been made, but the obvious dream is to make it even more accessible to the wider community of web developers as well. It's WordPress, but it's basically, there's a lot of people out there. We know from attending WordPress meetups, don't we? And WordPress
Yes.
WordCamps, where a lot of people are saying, I can't believe that people don't know about Beaver Builder, or I can't believe people don't know about such and such, or I'd never heard of the Divi theme. And these are developers that are really into developing WordPress websites. And also, speaking for you, I'm thinking you've become a proper personality in the WordPress community. You're on pretty much most podcasts, most vodcasts, whatever you're doing.
Right.
But it's the best way to get out there and get recognition for your product and the collaborative nature of Vito Peleg. So
I think that I just kind of like practice what I preach, So to me, it's just that communications, we kind of made that the point. And when when everything else is getting checked around against that, then that's how we build our marketing strategy. That's how we're building the approach to the market. That's how we're building the product, how we're deciding on different features, how we built the entire vision around this thing. And this is like, we're talking like 10 months in, right? So
sure.
there's still loads that is gonna happen in the upcoming years. to fulfill this full vision of fixing communications for WordPress professionals. I found that in order for me to deliver that mission, I need to be everywhere, so I can communicate this message basically. And it's an interesting. I know we're talking more about products, but that's an interesting kind of even a marketing kind of approach of the omnipresence. And I like to use this term because what you can do, especially when you know your audience well, and I am the audience. I've been building in WordPress for more than 10 years, so I just do what I would want to hear myself, or what I think is the right thing. So when you have that connection with your niche and with your community, and you can identify the places to engage with them through different mediums and through different channels, you can create this illusion of omnipresence around a small group of people, instead of like what Coca-Cola is doing on a world global scale.
I get that. What I want to do, I want to get into this WP Summit, because one of my companies is a sponsor, and I know that
Yes.
We've got Web Ventures in there, GoDaddy. We've got InMotion or Bold Grid, I think we've got in there as well. So and Page Builder Cloud and things like that. But what was it like onboarding? I mean, for me, it was a no-brainer. But what was it like onboarding the rest of the sponsors to make sure that this summit happened?
Sure. That was definitely like fully on my plate to make sure that this happens as we want it to happen. And we sold out. We sold out all the sponsorships in less than 2 weeks, which was like, it was mind blowing for me too. The idea was, or I guess what did it is just credibility, because I didn't need to do much. People, I reached out to our friends. I reached out to you, and I reached out to Mike here, and I reached out to Radost and to Adam from GoDaddy, and to our friends that we met in these kinds of events, in WordCamps around the world last year. And I just told them what my plan is, and they came on board. It was like literally as easy as that. Like there was no, and I know that doing sponsorships, because I had experience doing this before for like physical events, it usually is a nightmare. So I was preparing myself for something that we're probably going to hit 50% of what we needed, and so on. But we actually sold out way before the time that we had to do this. And it's all because of relationships. I think that's the it all comes down to communications again.
Well, I think it is about relationships, but we've also got to be honest about this. We're all in business, and we're feeling and we're seeing the reach of the WP feedback community, and we're seeing the reach of the WordPress community, and all of the sponsors. We got some big names in there.
Big names,
GoDaddies of this world and things like that. So you've got, they're reaching out all the time to their customers. And part of the, I think part of the mantra of a marketing department, when they're saying, "Oh, we've got this guy wants us to sponsor us," and they're sort of saying, "Well, what's in it for us?
Yes.
What's in it for the community? How can we make sure the community knows that actually we're pretty decent people, and we are supporting the community?" And they answer that question for themselves, and they say, "This is what's in it for us. It's about community. It's about getting the message out there. It's about supporting the actual WordPress community."
I think it's even more than this. Of course, this is like the first reason why you would do something like that, and that's why we supported a bunch of events throughout this year. But through my experience being a sponsor, I saw things that I didn't see through the eyes of an event organizer before. When I was doing like music festivals or stuff like that, like there was no. I didn't see it from a sponsor's eyes as I did going into this project. Now, this like after my experience in the past year, sponsoring some stuff in the space and outside the space as well, it wasn't good. The experience it wasn't a good experience. So I wanted to make sure that when I do it right. I do it from the point of view and perspective of that sponsor, because again, all that it is a communication breakdown between the event manager and the sponsors that are misaligning on their goals. The sponsors are looking for leads. It's it's awesome that you can support the community, but you're also doing a marketing activity. It's
Of
not
course.
part. The budget goes out of the marketing department, so it has to act as a mechanism to generate more revenue, right? Yeah. But that's very like rarely being regarded by event managers, which I think is kind of now I think it's kind of funny. But I did exactly the same thing. In the events that I did before this one. So yeah, so we created a whole different experience for the sponsors, trying to bring the experience that they know and love from real events, what they already have been set up to do, building up booths, manning the booths, offering freebies, doing the stuff that they are already kind of accustomed to doing for other events. We wanted to bring that to the digital space and create an unparalleled experience that no one ever seen before.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to dive into that. We've got a few minutes left on this particular podcast with you.
Yes.
And I wanted you to just to kind of verbalize the visual aspects of what's actually going to happen in the WP Summit and what WP Feedback users are going to be able to experience and WP Feedback visitors are going to be able to experience within the booths and within the tracks and within the sponsors' areas. Because I know what it envisages. I can't really describe it. You've invented it. You've actually invented it from the ground up. Go for it.
Right. So the idea is to create an illusion of an event where you go to it. So as opposed to standard podcasts, or like not while they have like their value in education and they have their place as something that you do on the go. Let's say you listen to a podcast like this while you're not in the car anymore, but while you're doing something else usually. I wanted to create an experience that is very much like a physical event where you go there and you stay there and you engage. You're fully engaged with the experience. And to do that, we created a few different features in the summit that takes us way beyond what we like to say the stack of webinars, which is what you'd find on most online summits at the moment, which is basically like it's just like a video and a chat, and then there's another video and a chat. So we have that aspect of the talks through our live sessions, but even that we created an experience where we're serving multiple time zones by spinning the same 6 hours of talks that we have every day 3 times a day to cover the entire world when it comes to this. So again, leveraging it digitally from that aspect, so people can chime in when they are awake or where they when it's daytime on their side of the world. From the networking experience, and this is something that this is where I met all the sponsors. This is how I met you. This is how I met a demo that is on this that is producing this call right now. This just by going to events and shaking hands, and you can't do it today, but like a few months ago we would have been shaking hands and exchanging business cards and just talking, getting to know each other. So that's what we created in the networking area, where you have, instead of jumping out to Zoom calls and every person has their own different Zoom call hangout with a few people on there, and it's a very fragmented experience that you go in and out of links, and every time you go out you have the potential of actually doing something else, which you don't have in an event. In an event, you go from a conversation to a conversation. So we brought it all in again into the platform so people can jump and engage with bigger and smaller clusters of people through our different networking spots.
Perfect. So on that note, there's a wheel of fortune, so people can get. That's how you get your swag, and there's some free swag giveaways, and there's people talking, and there's also opportunities for people that are attending it, like me, for instance. There's like a little video meetup thing which is live, so you can click on
all
that
the time, 24.
Exactly. I'm not going to be up 24 hours, I don't think. It's 3 days. Give us the dates. We've got about a minute left, so give us the dates that it's happening.
So this is going to be on the 27th of April, just next week, as of recording this podcast, 27th until the 1st of May. So we're going to do a full week next week, 24 hours for.
Perfect. Now, where can people find you, Vito Peleg?
So you can find me on Twitter, or which is just Vito Peleg, or just search WP Feedback, and you're going to find us and all of the awesome stuff that we're doing for the community.
Perfect. Well, I expect you're a very busy man. I know that I've still got to go through a bit of my stuff for the booths that we're
Yeah, you
doing.
got homework.
I know that Demo and I have got a bit of homework to do. And all is left for me to say is this: thank you to Vito Peleg from WPFeedback.com. This has been Tools Are Tools, presented by elegantmarketplace.com.